Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Vishwabad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotra Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Asa Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This morning we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. We're on text 37. Okay. Swarga Pavarga Dvaraya Nityam Shuchi Shade Namaha Namo Hiranya Viraya Chaturhotraya Tantave Swarga Pavarga Dvaraya Nityam Shuchi Shade Namaha Namo Hiranya Viryaya Chaturhotraya Tantave. Please chant. Swarga, the heavenly planets. Upavarga, the path of liberation. Dwaraya, unto the door of. Nityam, eternally. Shuchi Sade, unto the most purified. Namaha, my obeisances unto you. Namaha, my obeisances. Hiranya, gold. Viryaya, semen. Chatuhotraya, the Vedic sacrifices of the name. Tantave, unto one who expands. My Lord, O Aniruddha, you are the authority by which the doors of the higher planetary systems and liberation are opened. Is this loud enough? I don't know. It's okay? Okay. You are always within the pure heart of the living entity. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you. You are the possessor of semen, which is like gold, and thus, in the form of fire, you help the Vedic sacrifices, beginning with Chaturhotra. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you. Purport. The word Swarga indicates a position in the higher or heavenly planetary systems, and the word Upavarga means liberation. Those who are attached to the karma khandya activities described in the Vedas are actually entangled in the three modes of material nature. The Bhagavad Gita therefore says that one should be above the dominion of fruitive activities. There are different kinds of liberation or mukti. The best mukti is engagement in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Not only does Lord Aniruddha help fruitive actors by elevating them to the higher planetary systems, but he also helps the devotee engage in devotional service by dint of his inexhaustible energy. Just as heat is the source of material energy, the inspiration of Lord Aniruddha is the energy by which one can engage in executing devotional service. Om Nagani Devadandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuvan Maditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Girivachalam Pangam Mangayate Girim Yakripatam Ham Vande Shri Gurun Ditaranam Bancha Kapadirubhishta Kripasanubhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, read the translation again. My Lord, O Aniruddha, you are the authority by which the doors of the higher planetary systems and liberation are opened. You are always within the pure heart of the living entity. Therefore I offer my obeisances unto you. You are the possessor of semen, which is like gold, and thus, in the form of fire, you help the Vedic sacrifices, beginning with Chaturhotra. Therefore I offer my obeisances unto you. So as I think Dravida Prabhu was bringing up the other day, I think maybe it was I think it was yesterday, about the idea that there's so much in the so many things within the Srimad Bhagavatam that are there, and you could say so many processes that devotees in the past have engaged in to reach self-realization, to reach God realization, that we, as followers of Prabhupada or within the Hare Krishna movement, we don't emphasize so much. Like, for example, Dhruva Maharaj, his austerities, the things he was doing, we're definitely not going to advertise that and do that, because it's not easy and practical, and people can't do that. If we had a bhakti program in which, right, you eat leaves for breakfast, I think we said that maybe last week too, but be very, kale, very difficult, impossible. And there's so many things like that within the Bhagavatam. So here also we're hearing that it says, the inspiration of Lord Aniruddha is the energy by which one can engage in executing devotional service. So that's a statement there. And how much Srila Prabhupada emphasized that, and how much you could say we think about that, and I don't think devotees think about that too much. That yes, the inspiration of my devotional service, or the energy by which I engage in devotional service, is being supplied by or inspired by Lord Aniruddha. But this is what's being stated here, and right, Shiva's glorification. But one thing I was thinking to extract from that is that, that we do need, as you could say, a particular type of energy to engage in devotional service, to execute devotional service. And execute means, there's a task, and you execute it. There's a task at hand, something needs to get done, something needs to be completed, and it's executed. We need a particular energy to do that, special energy, special inspiration. And it's not the inspiration that the materialists have, because the materialists, they have a whole different type of inspiration, namely material profit and so many different sense gratificatory ideas and dreams they have in their mind trying to fulfill. That's their aim, that's their goal, that's their inspiration. But our inspiration is not that. So in other words, we are enjoined to work. We're enjoined to work in Krishna consciousness. But what's the inspiration behind our work? If over time we just see devotional service as like, oh, this is like a chore or something, like, oh, this is something I have to do. I don't really want to do it, but I kind of have to do it because I was told to do it. I have to cooperate to some degree. Then it's not really, you could say we're not really seeing it in the right light. The right way to see it is that this is a privilege for me to engage in devotional service. There's so many countless living entities all over, and so many of them don't have the opportunity for devotional service. Even in the human category, or we would say two-legged animal category, there are so many people who unfortunately don't have the opportunity for devotional service. And they're just completely, you could say, completely controlled by the material energy. We want to get that inspiration, we want to get that energy by which we can engage in devotional service very sincerely, very seriously, and very you could say productive. We want to be very productive in Krishna's service as much as possible. And the material energy, part of the you could say mechanics of the material energy, is that material energy, you could say, erodes our devotional sentiments. And that devotional sentiments means not just sentiments, it means those devotional sentiments will inspire activity, will inspire devotional service. So the devotional sentiments are eroded, and then therefore the devotional activities are slackened or reduced. And of course, the material energy, or Maya's particular aim, would be for someone to completely give up devotional service. That's the aim of the illusory energy. Just give it up. It's not very important. It's not important at all. It's useless. That's what material energy is trying to convince the material mind, senses, right? But we may not be so. We may be a little farther down the path. Well, we're not going to just completely give it up. I mean, Maya's not going to push us so much to. We won't be convinced to give it up necessarily. But you could say a question may come up is, how much are we convinced to reduce the amount of devotional service? Or in other words, the idea is that we're supposed to do as much as possible. We're supposed to distribute as many books as possible. We're supposed to go on as many Harinams as possible, as many books as possible. We're supposed to talk to as many people about Krishna as possible. We're supposed to read as much as possible. We're supposed to like really try to max out, and you could say, our devotional service. So the material energy, okay, just reduce. And again, we may not give up devotional service, but we want to not just, okay, well, I'm a devotee, I chant my rounds, I follow the 4 principles, but we also want to contribute to the mission of the Hare Krishna movement. There's a mission. So we have to be careful every day. Be careful. And be persistent, because it's not that one can just develop this energy overnight, or this inspiration overnight. One has to be persistent to get Krishna's mercy. Krishna's mercy isn't a cheap thing, and a lot of the times if people just get things cheap, they abuse it. They don't use it properly. They don't value it. So, but persistence will allow us, hopefully, to get more and more Krishna's mercy. Just like in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Maharaj Prataparudra, he was a king, and back then, sannyasis, especially back then, they were, especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was a really strict sannyasi, set an example. He told, the devotees were saying, oh, King Prataparudra, he's such a wonderful devotee, he's better than us, please see him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, I'm not seeing him, he's a king, I don't want to see him. He's just engaged in material affairs, material enjoyment. I don't want anything to do with him. Opulence, money. So then the devotees kept on pressing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Lord Chaitanya said, you have to stop pushing me or else I'm just going to leave. So stop, And then there was some, you could say, some things that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, like he saw his son, King Prataparudra's son, and then he sent part of his cloth, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cloth, to King Prataparudra. So he was pacifying him to some degree. But still, it wasn't to the degree that King Prataparudra wanted. It wasn't just like he wanted to, have a piece of his cloth, or he wanted his son to see him. He wanted to see him. He wanted to personally, serve him and, get the opportunity. So, then, the Rath Yatra starts, and King Prataparudra, he's out there with the broom sweeping in front of the Rath Yatra cart. And he's not doing that like, nowadays, leaders may do throughout the world, political leaders may do throughout the world. They do something that is good, seen to be good in the eyes of the general populace to get more votes. I do this, okay, we get more votes. He wasn't doing it like that. King Prataparudra wasn't sweeping like that, but he was sweeping out of a great desire, a great intensity to be able to get close and serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he saw that. He said, he saw him sweeping, because he's such a huge position he was in, the king. It was like he's doing humble service. So then they stop. Apparently, the Rath Yatra car stops, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he goes to a nearby garden. Is it Vallabha garden or something? And he's there. All the devotees there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there. And King Prataparudra, he dresses in ordinary clothes. Means he takes all of his fancy, kingly dress up. And then he, simple kurta or chadar and dhoti or whatever. So then he goes and first he doesn't just run to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He doesn't just, run to his lotus feet and start massaging his feet and massaging his legs. But first he offers his obeisances to the devotees. He offers obeisance to the devotees, and then he proceeds to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then with the devotees' blessings and guidance, they tell the king to start massaging Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's legs, calves. And then King Prataparudra, he starts singing or chanting shlokas from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto. We could pass the mic to Dravida Prabhu, maybe he could. Can you chant those? Tava, yeah.
Tavakatamritam tapta jivanam kavabudiditam kalmashapaham Shabalamangalam Shimaratatam Bhuvigranantiye Buridajana.
Can you give us a translation?
Yeah. The gopis are praying to Krishna in separation. And they say, my dear Lord, the nectar talks about you are the life and soul of the jivas who are suffering and burning in this material world. They're very auspicious to hear and full of spiritual power. Certainly those who are spreading your glories in this world are the greatest munificent welfare workers.
All right. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that, and then he went into more higher levels of ecstasy, and then he said, "Oh, you're the most munificent. You're the most munificent." King Prataparudra, and he's saying, "How can I repay you? You've given me this, greatest Krishna Katha," and he embraced him. Yeah, he embraced him. King Prataparudra. So his desire was fulfilled. But that was due to his persistence. It wasn't just like, okay, well, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't want to see me, so let me just, I'll go, make some more money or something, or let me, whatever. Let me follow someone else, or let me go conquer another part of the country. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't want to see me. So that's sometimes when people, they come to they come to Krishna. They're trying to get Krishna's mercy, trying to get Krishna's attention, right? Persistent, trying to really, right, achieve something. And then it doesn't seem to be working as they planned, exactly, right? Krishna's not dancing before them while they're chanting their japa or something. Then, okay, let me leave. Let me join the Navy. Let me join the Army. Let me join, what is it? Peace Corps or Greenpeace or whatever. So yeah, we have to be persistent. And then just a little more about that. And then afterwards, interesting part of the pastime, but then afterwards, the Rath Yatra started, resumed, yeah. So then at one particular point, Lord Jagannath's cart just stopped, and it wouldn't go any further. So then King Prataparudra, he got all these big wrestlers, and they were trying to push it. Didn't work. Then they got these elephants. They tied ropes to the elephants, and the elephants were trying to get it to move. It didn't work. It said that even the elephants are like I don't know, squeal in pain. They're trying to move the. Yeah, they were calling out, trumpeting. Trying to move it. So then it wasn't moving. And then it says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to the back and put his head on the back of the cart and it moved. So. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it went really fast, actually. Yeah, it went really fast to Gundicha temple, which is said Vrindavan. So, yeah. So, yeah, by persistence, under the guidance of the spiritual master and the guidance of devotees, it's not just like persistent, well, I'm being persistent, but maybe the persistence that a person is, how one is being persistent is not proper, or it's foolish or something. I'm being very persistent. But persistent, intelligently being persistent, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or like King Prataparudra, he was taking the guidance from the devotees. He wasn't just being persistent whimsically. He's being persistent under the guidance of the devotees. And by that, we will get Krishna's mercy. And we will be able to, you could say, have the energy to engage in devotional service throughout our lifetime and not fall into this trap of, okay, well, all right, well, I didn't give up devotional service, but, okay, but how much am I contributing? Because, we don't want to just be a devotee but not contribute. We want to do both. Contribute as much as possible, specifically. I mean, probably would even say, I think I read this, somebody, I could look it up, but it was a Vyasa Puja offering, but Prabhupada was saying, oh, I'm an old man, I started a little late. So I want my disciples to, I mean, it's quite an order to do as much or more than I did. So yeah, Prabhupada wanted devotees to contribute as much as possible, and that requires energy. So energy to engage in devotional service. And say give up this fruitive mentality of this calculating consciousness. Okay, well, what am I going to get out of this world, or what am I going to get out of this situation, or this, material calculations. We just want to calculate, okay, what can I do personally to help my spiritual master, you say assist my spiritual master in his mission, and not calculate, okay, kind of, well, maybe I should play it safe, I don't want to push myself too much. I don't want to burn out. Of course, there's intelligent balance, and again, under the direction of the spiritual master, intelligent persistence, we won't burn out. So yeah, not getting involved or caught up in all these, you could say, different networks of Maya. Is it networks or network? Networks, yeah, okay. Networks of Maya. One is karma kandya, so many different things we could get involved in. Of course, nowadays we're getting so much involved in karma kandya, but you say general fruitive mentality, just trying to make a comfortable situation in this world and forget all about Krishna consciousness. Okay, so does anybody have any questions or comments?
I don't actually have a question, but I have just a quick historical. You're talking about Maharaj Prachaparuta and how he was a powerful king. The history is, I mean, you can Google it, you can Wikipedia. Maharaj Prachaparuta was controlling all of Orissa, most of Andhra Pradesh, and holding, the Mughals could not conquer him. He was such a powerful Vaishnava king. You know, Akbar and his lineage, they couldn't defeat him. He was a very powerful Vaishnava king. And the history is there. It's not just our nice opinion.
Yeah.
Chaitanya Charitamrita is history. Not a flight of fancy.
Yes. I was planning on reading. Okay.
People would criticize Prabhupada that, well, if everybody became Hare Krishnas, you know, nobody would work or anything, or you just chant Hare Krishna. And Prabhupada said, "Oh no, the whole society." And there's an example: King Prachaparuta is
Yeah.
powerful king. No one could conquer him. But I mean, I think the Muslims are all over, everywhere else around India, right? Except for that Orissa there, powerful, great Vaishnava, pure devotee.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's some statement, I think Bhaktivinoda Thakur already says, oh, well, we'll know that we're making some progress or having some success when the judges are wearing tila. So, of course, he was a great judge. I mean, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great example of a devotee, and specifically in the household ashram, he had so many children. How many? 10, right? One of them was the great Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I mean, what a gift to the world that was, right? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he, so sharp, mind was just so sharp that he would go through so many cases within such a short time, but it wasn't like wasn't kind of negligent, whimsical, and sloppy. It was very sharp, very intelligent, efficient, and he was setting the example that one can, you could say, work and do so many things, but also contribute. I mean, of course, he was sleeping not that much, just a few hours a night. That was why he was able to contribute a lot. Obviously, that too. I think he wrote 100 books, songs. Such a wonderful example. Yeah.
You know, they have this idea of what would happen if the whole world became Krishna conscious, and you hear that sometimes. I actually heard Prabhupada answer that on a radio show, 1970, Los Angeles. This guy, it's a long story, but the short version is he was just, the ras of the show was that he would find fault and slap around the guest. And there was even a question whether Srila Prabhupada should go. Because that, and then Prabhupada asked how many viewers. They said, well, Prabhupada, it's all over Southern California. There's several million people. And Prabhupada said, can we chant? And they said, well, we'll ask. Prabhupada said, okay, we'll go. And the guy was trying to do his usual thing, and he, why don't you just go back to India? The death rate's so high. And Prabhupada gave the classic answer, death rate's the same everywhere, 100%. And then they asked Prabhupada, well, why do you shave your head? The lady, whatever. When Prabhupada said, why do you shave your legs? Better a cool brain and warm legs. The whole thing. When you say the world is flat, Prabhupada said, everywhere I walk it is. So in this way, Prabhupada just like slapping the guy around. And finally the guy, in exasperation, he said to Srila Prabhupada, Well, what would happen if the whole world became Krishna conscious? Prabhupada said, don't worry. There'll always be fools like you who won't. Then later on, and then Prabhupada went Prabhupada went on to explain, if you look at, he said, there's two main pillars of Vedic tradition. You have the Ramayana and you have the srimadbhagavatam. Mahabharata, Prabhupada said, Mahabharata. And if you study those, you have the Pandavas and Arjuna extremely active. You look at the Ramayana, you have Hanuman extremely active. So this idea that devotees are not active or not involved in society is completely ludicrous. So, they just got their superficial idea. But one last thing, just so we don't go out and punch everybody in the nose. Prabhupada said this is the special dispensation for old men and little children. He said this when he got back, it was about 11 o'clock at night. That he said, I can say these things, you cannot. It's a special dispensation for old men and little children. He said they can say anything and they can go anywhere.
It's true, children can get away with a lot.
You can walk into the women's bathroom,
Yeah.
whatever, there's an old man,
Apparently there's this, they have all these, you take pictures of yourself or whatever, people, and they have all these apps where you could make an old person's face look like a baby, or you can make a baby's face look like an old person. Yeah. So it's a little weird, actually. And
and yet they don't get the message, do they?
it's a little, quite weird. But anyways, my mother was doing that with her grandsons. My sister's sons, and one of my nephews, he's 5 years old, Clayton. So he said, because I did that with my mother. So her picture of her face, and then it, looked like a baby, kind of, And then he just very, without thinking, he said, "That looks like an old baby." So yeah, children could, do so many things. So, all right. Any last question or comment? Okay. All right, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.